Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League is one of the worst video game releases of 2024 because of how it disrespected the legacy of the Arkhamverse, and also it proved how Rocksteady has fallen over the years, that they no longer care about making games for gamers. They simply wanted to make a product that appealed to modern audiences, aka sensitive snowflakes on social media. But now we are finding out that KTJL is officially dying in January after 4 seasons of disappointment. I have a few different things to show off, but before I get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, join the community in my live streams, and consider supporting through Patreon or YouTube memberships. Now, I've talked a lot on this channel about Kill the Justice League, from my Rocksteady insiders to the terrible state of the game, and it seems that things are really not going to get any better because they're killing it. Now, this isn't particularly shocking given nobody's playing this title anymore, but they initially had said that they were planning at least 5 seasons, and spoiler alert, I guess it's not really a spoiler now since they're not releasing it, the 5th season was supposed to bring back Batman, and now they're not doing that. I think that they're just trying to cut their losses and say, okay, enough is enough. We wanted to do more, but nobody's playing it. So their announcement says final season with Deathstroke joining the roster. The Suicide Squad's crusades against Brainiac is drawing to an end. By the way, I think that Deathstroke was a good decision for the game in totality, but it should have been season 2. They should have went one bad character, one good character, one bad character, one good character, and that's not what they did. They should have released him seasons ago, because that probably would have captured the people who were still mildly interested in the game, but now that it's been nearly a year, nobody cares. Season 4 will finish up episode 8, which is scheduled to release in January 2025, and that will serve as the last seasonal episode for Kill the Justice League. While Season 4, Episode 8 will mark the final battle against Brainiac, all online features will continue to be available, so you'll still be able to enjoy co-op with friends, as well as all previous seasonal and episodic content. They are not planning to keep the servers up for very long. That's why they're adding the offline mode, because probably around like March to April, they're going to kill the servers. It says you'll also have the option to play the game via the new offline mode, which allows access to the main story campaign and all post-launch seasonal gameplay content without an internet connection. Yeah, they want to kill this game in as many ways as possible, and that's why they're adding the offline mode. And I can't say that I'm shocked. Nobody's playing this game anymore. The only time people talk about this title is when they're laughing at it, and it's really no shocker to see why. Rocksteady over the years has really fallen. They are a shell of the company they once were. When this game started its development cycle, one of the co-founders of Rocksteady actually decided to dip out because he was not agreeing with the direction they were taking this game and this franchise in. So he decided to leave, which wasn't really that shocking to see. And now it's just filled to the brim with activists. I understand that there are some good apples in every bunch. So there are some genuinely passionate and talented people that work at this company. But on the flip side, the majority of the people do not really care about the Justice League. They really do not care about Batman or the Arkhamverse. They only really joined this project to modernize it, which is so sad to know. I mean, judging by the content that we got, like the gender swapped lesbian Mrs. Freeze and the quote ethical thief Zoe Lawton, which is absurd. It just goes to show that the people working on this project and also the people greenlighting these decisions never really understood what made the Arkhamverse special in the first place. It wasn't the fact that it was jam-packed with all sorts of different Batman characters. It's that they strategically chose what characters were going to pop up in the Arkhamverse, and they felt like they really lived in this universe. They felt authentic to the experience. It felt like every single character mattered or had a part of the overarching storyline, and that's not really the case with this game. They just kind of were throwing characters at the wall, hoping one of them was going to stick, and that's just not the case. I think that I might jump back in one more time to try Deathstroke because having a playable Deathstroke could be really, really cool in a game, but one cool character in a pile of trash just does not save the experience. And now everybody's pointing and laughing, saying, we all knew that this was going to happen. It's not really that crazy. And, they already should have had a shutdown date for those servers planned. That's why they rushed offline mode out the door. I got it for free from Twitch. I might give it a shot once everything is out and the offline mode is in. Yeah, I think if you have it for free, it's worth trying out. But if you are a fan of the Arkhamverse, you are going to be extremely disappointed with this experience and the storyline. It, for me, was one of the worst games of the year, probably the worst game of the year, just because, again, of how they trashed the legacy of these characters and this universe, and it was so sad to see. 4 seasons too many, too bad, so sad, of course. Pack Watch, Rip Bozo. I love when crap games fail, food for the soul. I wish they had shut down the servers so much sooner. They didn't do enough Pride skins. It's almost like the numbers they bragged didn't last very long. Who could have expected that? And of course, I've talked about KTJL a lot on the channel. I mean, I've covered so many of these stories, but I do think one of the major reasons this failed was because of Sweet Baby Inc. I do think that, of course, this was the game that really started Gamergate 2. There were games before that people were, bringing up that had Sweet Baby Inc.'s involvement, like Alan Wake 2, for example. A lot of people started really paying attention to Sweet Baby then, but KTJL was the game that started Kabrutus's Sweet Baby Inc. detected / DEI detected list, and it really kicked things off because that's when journalists were trying to get people deplatformed. Not that they're not now, they certainly are, but that's when it really got bad. And they were saying that, of course, we were killing games with our influence, which is absurd. And well, Sweet Baby did negatively affect this game. We do not have a full comprehensive list of changes that Sweet Baby suggested, but I have heard about some of them, and they are not good. They did decide to gender swap some of these characters. They decided to, yes, suggest, even though it's not really suggesting, they told the developers that they should change some of the character designs, that there should be moments within this game where people like Harley are trashing their old costumes. That was a Sweet Baby Inc. special. And overall, they did really affect kind of the game in totality. They basically just took the general ideas that were made and said, oh no, if you want to be more progressive, if you actually want to ultimately, look like you're a new Rocksteady, you should take X, Y, and Z and severely alter them. And that is what happened. Of course, there are a lot of companies now who understand that Sweet Baby Inc. is basically a death touch on their company and their game. Every project Sweet Baby Inc. touches turns to trash. But, Rocksteady started working with them about 2.5 years ago. So they didn't really, again, know that this was going to happen. But I don't particularly feel so bad for Rocksteady, given a lot of the activists made these major changes, and they're the ones who, at the end of the day, were deciding the general direction of this title, which is one I just have never agreed with. I never thought that it was a good idea to have the Suicide Squad and killing the Justice League and trashing the legacy of these characters and this franchise in totality. So it will be interesting to see if anybody who worked on this project actually comes out and discusses the current state of the game and maybe some of the canceled plans that they had, or maybe they'll just attack gamers like usual. Not that that would be shocking. Maybe they'll say, oh, this game only died because of toxic, bigoted gamers. I definitely know that that's a sentiment that's shared within the company, but for now, that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this, give it a like, and if you didn't, give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I'll talk to you all again in the next video really soon.